Distributive property and foiling. Two very important things to help us get ready for good old calculus. Stuff you learned back in Algebra 2, maybe Algebra 1, definitely pre-calc. But we're going to go over the main types so that you feel good and comfortable for Calc 1. Right off the bat, we're just going to do straight up distributive property, baby. We have a term multiplied to a parentheses, and inside the parentheses you're adding or subtracting. And what we do is we just multiply, combine like terms when you're done. So I have, let me get my glasses on. I don't know why they were off in the first place. I have 4x times 8x cubed. 4 times 8 is 32. X times x cubed is x to the fourth because you add the exponents when you multiply terms of the same base. Now I take 4x and multiply that to 2x squared. 4 times 2 is 8. And it's positive, of course, because of the plus sign in front. X times x squared is x cubed because you have 3 x's combining. Can I combine anything there? Nope. Am I done? Yep. Fun. Now I have distributive property twice. The first one is negative 3x to the third times 5x to the third. So I have negative 3 times 5, which is negative 15. X cubed times x cubed is x to the sixth. Add the exponents. Negative 3x to the third times 2x squared is going to be negative, because negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. X to the third times x squared is x to the fifth. And that's done. Now we have distributive property again. The devil, you say? No. There's a negative in front of that parentheses, which means I don't simply drop the parentheses. Don't do it. You distribute the negative. You're basically multiplying a negative 1 to everything inside the parentheses there. So negative 1 times x to the fifth is negative x to the fifth. And negative 1 times negative 7x is a positive 7x. You observe what you have, and you notice that you can combine the two terms in the middle. So let's do it. Negative 15x to the sixth stays. Negative 6x to the fifth minus x to the fifth is going to be negative 7x to the fifth, because we're combining like terms. And then plus 7x, all on his own or her own. And that's distributive property, boys and girls. Curses. Foil again. Well, shoot, I should have waited until 4 to do that problem, because we're going to do FOIL for the first time here. FOIL is an acronym, and it stands for First Outer Inter. It stands for First Outer Inner Last, and it's what you do when you multiply two binomials together, okay, which is what we're doing here. So x times x, it's the first part, is x squared. The outer is going to be x times 12, so you get 12x. The inner is going to be 7 times x. And then the last is going to be 7 times 12, which is 84. Take a look at what you have, and you may notice that the outer and the inner combine. And so you end up with x squared plus 19x plus 84. So we did FOIL to do 3. How do you do 4? Curses. FOIL again. Oh, it worked the second time around. Although this isn't technically FOIL. See, we have a trinomial being multiplied to a binomial. So the idea of FOIL exists, but there's more outers and inners to deal with. So you may want to call this FOIL. You just think about that one. I like it. It's a good joke. All right, x squared times x. Actually, let me erase all of this stuff so I have the space to do it. X squared times x, x cubed. X squared times negative 8, negative 8x squared. Then you do the second term in the first parentheses. 3x times x, positive 3x squared. 3x times negative 8, negative 24x. Negative 2x, negative 2x. Let's go with the next magenta. Negative 2 times negative 8, negative 16. Positive 16. Sorry. Combine like terms. Nothing combines with x cubed. Negative x squared. Negative 8x squared plus 3x squared becomes negative 5x squared. These guys combine to make negative 26x. And then you have plus 16 at the end. Okay? So regular FOIL, long FOIL. Okay, this is a regular FOIL again. But this, very similar in parentheses. I have an x minus 7 and an x plus 7. I wonder if anything special is going to happen. X times x is x to the fourth. X squared, my goodness. X times 7 is 7x. Negative 7 times x is negative 7x. And negative 7 times positive 7 is negative 49. The two interior, the O and the I, cancel each other out, and we're left with x squared minus 49. This is called a difference of squares. A difference of squares is literally what it sounds like. You have a square minus difference, a square. And what they look like is x plus 7, x minus 7, x plus number, x minus the same number in whatever order. As long as one of them's plus and one of them's minus, and as long as the numbers are the same, it's a difference of squares. So in another video that I have about factoring, we will see the reverse version of that. Okay? Difference of squares. Now, this is very similar. It's very, 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 very tempting just to be like, you know what? I know what this is. X squared minus 49, but that's absolutely wrong. That's absolutely wrong. This is going to be called a perfect square trinomial, and it's not going to give you x squared minus 49. When you square something, you take that something and you write it out 2 times. So x minus 7 is going to be written out twice. And then you go through your standard FOIL process. X times x is x squared minus 7x minus 7x plus 49. And what you end up with is x squared minus 14x plus 49. This is called a perfect square trinomial. And the shortcut for a problem like this, is, in my case, I have a negative, so that's why we get negative 14x. But what you do is you take the first term, you square it, and that's going to be the first term in your answer. You combine these two terms through multiplication. Negative 7 and x make negative 7x. You double that to make it negative 14x, and that's your second term. And then you take the second term inside of your parentheses and you square that, which will always become positive, and that's going to be your third term in the answer. So the way of writing this out would be x plus or negative b squared is going to give you x squared plus or negative 2xb plus b squared. We will use that shortcut. Listen, I'm a father of 4. I don't sleep, so I'm tired. We will use that shortcut several times. especially in the first couple of sections of chapter 2. Okay. Let's end with a terrible, 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 terrible problem. This is an extended FOIL problem, so let's just go over it. X squared. So we're going to take each term in the first parentheses, and we're going to take turns distributing each term in the first parentheses to every term in the second parentheses. So I'm going to multiply that guy to each of these. I'm going to multiply that guy to each of these, and I'm going to multiply that guy to each of these, and I'm going to have 9 terms in my next step because I have 3 groups being multiplied to 3 things. 3 times 3 is 9. So x squared times x squared, x to the 4th. X squared times negative 10x is negative 10x cubed. X squared times 25, positive 25x squared. Negative 7x, I missed it. Hold on, let me see if I can scooch that. Negative 7x times x squared is negative 7x to the 3rd. Negative 7x times negative 10x is going to be positive 70x squared. Negative 7x times 25 is going to be negative 175x. You probably hear my daughter in the background screaming and carrying stuff up the steps. Ignore her, even though I can't. Negative 8 times x squared is negative 8x squared. Negative 8 times negative 10x is going to be positive 80x. And negative 8 times 25 is going to be, oh man, can I squeeze it in? Negative 200. Can I squeeze in 200? I just did. Now let's combine like terms. X to the 4th, nothing combines with it. Actually, let me choose a different color that I can take. Negative 10x cubed, negative 7x cubed is going to be negative 17x cubed. 25x squared, 70x squared, so that's 95x squared, minus 8x squared, so 95 minus 8 is going to be 87x squared. Negative 175x plus 80x is going to be negative 95x. And then minus 200. And that's it. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is distributive property and FOIL. We're going to do that quite a bit in calculus. Make sure you feel comfortable doing it. It's going to happen a lot. All right? That ends this video, so bye.